welcome to another episode of Hype Lights Money Talks. This is episode 9. My name is Will Esposito. I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Mike Petrillo, Chris Badaracco. Guys, it's been a while. Why don't you introduce yourselves, and then we'll introduce our guest for this evening's topic, which is real estate buying and selling. Mike, you want to start off?
Sure. I am Mike Petrillo, and I work at Pazina Investment Management. I oversee the day-to-day trade settlement operations at our company. We trade in all different types of markets, so it's not just simply what you see when you open an E-Trade account. We invest locally in those markets, so just handling that type of stuff.
Awesome, Mike. And Mike is a longtime friend of mine.
Friend first.
Friend
Yes.
first. And now he is our financial expert, one of our financial experts, and joined also by another longtime friend from East Stroudsburg University, Chris Badaracco.
So my name is Chris Badaracco. I started my own financial planning firm last March 1st, and do investment management, tax prep and planning, insurance planning, estate planning, and just cash flow and balance sheet planning.
Chris is our go-to for all things financial tips, personal financial tips, helping people, everyday people, manage their money and do what's best for them and their income. And last but not least, want to introduce our guest for tonight's episode, Jason Levine. Jay, I've allowed everyone to give themselves their own introduction, so if you don't mind enlightening us on who you are, what you do, and tell us a little about yourself.
Well, first off, thank you, Will. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you guys, Chris and Michael, for having me on here as well. I see this being broadcasted each week, and I give you guys a lot of credit for this because I think this is really important in not just your own business, but bringing value to others, which is what we all know to be true. So thank you. My name is Jay Levine. First off, I am a father. I'm a husband. I'm sitting at soccer practice in my car. So let's just kind of talk about, I'm not at a campfire. This is not a campfire here, although I can make shapes. And I'll tell you who I am in a quick story. So growing up, my father was an entrepreneur and owned a hardware store. And I was always taught that business was all about relationships. And relationships were all about having shared experiences with people, whether that be while you're in the sale or whether that be before or after, but it was about those shared experiences, similar to what we're doing now. So that's always carried out with me wherever I've gone in my sales career. And in 2016, we owned a Verizon wireless store at that time, and it was a beautiful sunny day, and I was standing outside of real estate school in Maywood, New Jersey at that point. Kovats Realty, shout out. Kyle, what's up, man? And it was a beautiful day. Sun was shining, and there was a giant black cloud above my head, and it was filled with $200,000 in debt and about 6 months behind on our rent at our Verizon Wireless retail location. And I share that with you because at that moment, I knew that I had had enough. I hadn't really even told anyone what was going on necessarily. I mean, my inner circle knew, but didn't know the severity. And I'm very happy to say that day, it was May 23rd, 2016. It was my son's 5th birthday, and I made a promise to my family at that point. There was just so much at stake that I was not going to turn back. And I wasn't going to let, this corporate structure, this fake entrepreneurship in a way, because I owned a company, but I was at the mercy of this corporation, this bigger company, and they were drowning me. So at that moment, I went into real estate, and fast forward here, I'm happy to say that in 2016, we had a great year as part-time real estate agents, although nothing we do is part-time. And every year we've doubled our business. And in 2018, we sold our Verizon wireless store. And in 2019, a year later, on literally the same day, September 11th, we opened 194 Real Estate Group. And guys, remember I told you about this $200,000 debt. When I left Verizon, I still had this large debt over my head. And I thought that real estate was momentum. We're doubling business every year. and we're starting our business in 2019, September. We're moving and grinding, and then, a global pandemic. Awesome. That's going to go well. So immediate reaction was, oh shit. Part of my French here, Hype Light. That was the immediate reaction. And I'm very proud to say, through a lot of different things that we may talk about tonight, we continued to grow our business. And in 2020, which was a fantastic year of our first full year in business, 194 Real Estate Group did over $21 million in sales and about 50 transactions, which I don't even like saying. We don't call them transactions, but for everyone out there, 50 transactions. And this year we're on pace to double the transactions, and we hit our 21 million in July. So as a company, so we're on pace for 50. We're really proud of that. And I don't say those numbers for any other reason other than the example of what's possible. And another big thing to round it all out for you guys, October 16th is another big day for us. It was the day that we officially paid off every single bit of that debt from that Verizon business. And I'll say that, there is this identity that you have as a human being, and people see, we're social media, people see the outside. And one of the things about real estate and sales in general that I love, and what I love about this group, and I'm assuming this about you guys, not Will, because I know Will on a deeper level, but it's all about relationships. It's all about growth. It's all about alignment. There's just a deeper meaning to all this, and I'm just really happy to be here tonight, and thank you guys for the opportunity. And Will is one of our newest agents at 194, so I want to shout you out because you are an example of that possibility. You are 10 years, I'm guessing, ahead of me. So take that jump start. Maybe not 10. Maybe I'm making myself older here. But, again, you're in a position right now that you're doing things that when I was first introduced to real estate, I wasn't doing because they weren't available to me. I didn't know about them. So, your growth in only the first month, few months is incredible. So that is why we do what we do. Impacting the people that we sell homes to and impacting the people that we encounter on every day. So I will kick it back to you, Will.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Jay. Appreciate that.
Yeah, awesome. I love hearing that. That's an incredible success story. That's pretty remarkable. 2021. Question, I understand the pandemic must have been hit hard. A lot of didn't know what was going on. You're in the middle of the business. But as far as the real estate market was concerned, and as far as people moving out of New York, did you guys feel just a giant boom as far as it taking off and kind of picking up speed in New, especially I know from people I know who are buying homes in New Jersey, they felt like they were showing up to homes, seeing the Zillow price and it being another 100,000 or other way over ask for what they were even considering. Did you guys experience that, and how has it kind of been recently?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So, like I said, the oh shit moment happened in September of March of 2020, when we had just opened a business, had dug our again, like I said, I don't want to make it sound worse or than it is or better than it is. It is
no,
what
it's it's terrifying.
And it was,
you don't know
it
what
was
to expect.
100%, and it was scary. And at that moment, we were incredibly busy. Regardless of the coronavirus, we were already incredibly busy. And I credit that to a lot of what we do in our processes and our systems at 194, which again, we can always talk about on another call. But at that moment, I'm on a lot of boards. I'm on the zoning board. I was on the school board for New Milford. So I was getting information about the schools shutting down a couple days prior to the public. So I went into a little bit of a panic myself, thinking that I know what's about to be happening here. We're about to shut the world down. Oh crap. What do we do with this business? We just started. How are we going to survive? And we had one set of clients at the time. We're primarily listing agents. We do, I would say, around 75% listings. We do have a lot of buyers, but we take on about 75% of ours as listings. So at the time, that same ratio happened. So our listings were kind of safe because a lot of them were in progress already and kind of already moving throughout. We had to worry about people losing their jobs, yes, but it was pretty much okay. But we had a couple buyers out there that were like, hey, we're not scared and we need to find a house. So we need to still go out and look. So we never literally, man, I tell you, Chris, we never stopped. We never stopped. It didn't slow down for us one bit. It only accelerated. So we only had like a week and a half, 2 week period where the world shut down for a minute and everybody was like, whoa, what's happening? But right after that happened and they allowed us to kind of like go out with masks, it never stopped. It like, I think about it now, it feels like years ago, but it just never stopped. And 2020, people were saying, oh, how could it get better than 2020? In 2021, it did. It got way better. And you know what? 2022 is supposed to be 15% better than 2021. So, you know, the end is not in sight for me right now. And as a company, you know, right now, the time that we have in front of us is not just, oh, wow, we can do really well with real estate because it's busy right now. It's how do we build relationships that are going to last past this? Because so if we can gain a lot of business now, that's great. But how do we make the business we gain sustainable forever? And that's what it's about. It's not about going after individual clients. And I don't want to say that was the wrong language. It's not about talking to individual clients. It's not about that. But what it is about talking to people like yourself, Chris, like, you know, like Will, like, you know, like everybody here on this call that have the same avatar, but do not compete for business. So what that allows us to do is leverage each other integrally to gain more business. And now instead of me talking to, you know, 100 clients, I can talk to one ecosystem partner that has the access to those ideal avatars. So it's making things more efficient. And also at the same time, it's adding value to another person as well, which is for me a win-win.
Got it. No, that's pretty incredible.
Jay, so how much would you say just the innovations of technology and the interest rate environment has also impacted it? Because I know my wife and I, we bought a house back in December of last year. And when we looked, we were living with our in-laws at the time, so we didn't have anything to sell. But we were looking and we weren't really looking, but we just like popped on Zillow and we're like, oh, let's go look at these couple houses. And then like we got there, we loved the house and we put an offer in. And I just feel like, do you think technology has had an impact on making people actually go out there and look and actually it's got to be making the market better for you guys, right?
So first off, I just want to acknowledge the fact that you need to stop looking on Zillow and call Will and cut it out. Okay. Like,
well, that was before Will was in the business.
All right. Likely story, Mike. No. So, but I mean that in joking, but not joking. Your best bet, first off, is to find a trusted real estate agent that you can reach out to, because if no real estate agent that has the outcome of the client in mind and in heart is going to be upset with doing the research to find you the home that you want. So a lot of times we hear that, well, I don't want to bother you. If I ever give off that energy and someone says that to me, I will apologize for that. Like, hey, if I gave off that energy, my apologies, because that is like, I am here for you to ask me because I want the clarity. I want you to be clear on things, not guess through Zillow or Realtor.com. And there's nothing wrong with those websites. They're good as references. But when you're really looking, it really is best to work with an agent. I'm not saying that because I'm an agent. I'm saying that because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And also trying to get yourself through those weeds can be difficult by yourself, 100%. But to get to your question, so let me see how to word this, I guess correctly. Ask the question one more time. So I need to reframe that. Ask that one more time.
So the first question was, and when I did actually buy a house, I did use a real estate agent, but I meant in the terms of it's so easy to just open the app and browse houses before even walking out the door. So that I think that has to have a huge impact on just, I guess, people's feeling like they can actually.
So absolutely. So we had right in the beginning of the pandemic, we wound up having multiple open houses virtually. I was on a Zoom. I was masked, gloved. I looked like I was going through a war zone, like, and I was doing a Zoom. We had two, both of them over ask offers with multiple offers. So the technology aspect is a humongous aid. And I'll be honest with you, I only know the technology era because when I first got in 2016, it wasn't necessarily the technology era, but I had just come from owning a Verizon wireless store for the last 10 years. And I said, what am I doing here with all this paper? Everything was digital at Verizon. So I just it only made sense to me to make sure that everything I did was the highest quality digital content. And that's what we focus on, is high quality digital content. My wife and partner and co-founder is actually a graphic designer by degree and trade. And, she was a lead designer on many magazines, NBC, Toys R Us. So we have actually like a design department that I could say is, I'm not saying this with ego, but, just as good as any company out there, if not better, because we have someone who actually, that's what they went to school for. So that's a humongous asset on the digital side. As for like ease of finding homes, it's a gift and a curse sometimes, because I'm a people person in the sense of like, I like interaction with people. I'm somebody, I used to sell cars, and, we would sit next to somebody and sell a car, and you would talk, and you would start to like, there'd be times where it's like, I want to be that person that could like tap you on the shoulder when we're talking. And like, there's energy that transfers when we're close up that I enjoy. So I think that part of, the energetic transference, going back and forth between people is super present to me as well.
All right. Another question I just kind of popped into my head. So one thing, when you're saying like the graphic design and everything and selling and either selling or looking for houses, realistically, what is the value add of having having a real estate agent versus like me selling my home on my own? Like, are you guys constantly like putting that listing on different advertisements, and how do you guys kind of go about doing to get the home out there versus if someone was just like, oh, I'm just going to for sale by owner?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And listen, a lot of the answers are similar. I mean, a lot of the things that a for sale by owner is going to do are similar to what a real estate agent's going to do at the surface level. It's not always about, especially in this market, it's not just about getting a client in the door. It's like, that's not necessarily the hard part. It's everything afterwards that I think at times gets taken for granted. And likely what's going to happen is you're not going to sell that home for sale by owner to another realtor. You're going to likely sell that to someone who has a realtor, and you're going to share a percentage of it. Just, you're going to pay a smaller percent, right, and get a discount. Then what's going to happen is now you're going to have to deal with this realtor, and it can become more of a difficult process when that communication breakdown could happen, because they're not necessarily always on the same page. A seller can be, unless there's no emotion involved for them and they're doing this strictly business, an emotion can get in the way of that. So it is not my opinion, but the facts state that you are going to net less money selling it for sale by owner. And it makes sense because of the reason one that we just talked about, which is just the process itself and how smooth you're going to get to the closing table. And two is the exposure. Yes, the websites aren't different, but we do more than just post on the MLS and go, oh, hope that posted on the MLS worked. We are involving ourselves, not just us, but our agency. So it's also about making sure that you're leveraging an agency that shares integrally everyone's business. And I'm not going to say any names of any agencies, but a lot of those agencies out there, if you're not on their team, they're not sharing your listing. Right. That's not how it works at 194. We're a family. Everyone's listings are opportunities for everyone else in the company to advertise not only that listing for their family, their partners, but also to gain business for themselves and potentially help someone else turn their dream into an address, which is one of, something we say all the time. So for us, it's all about the relationship. And what we're doing right now, for me, this is marketing. This is sales and marketing for me. So I'm sitting at practice. I would normally be sitting here at practice, maybe answering emails or maybe scrolling through Facebook. I don't know. Again, sorry, I'm old. I meant TikTok. Scrolling through TikTok. YouTube, scrolling through YouTube. No, but seriously, this is for me one of the greatest gifts of being a realtor, and even being in sales in general. I think, and being an entrepreneur specifically, is that it's all the same. When I go on my Zoom, my zoning board meeting in a little bit, like who I am on that meeting is part of who I am as a realtor, as a human being in general. How I do one thing is how I do everything. So when I'm out there presenting myself to other people, they may not see Jay Levine, the realtor, at the moment, but they will.
Mm-hmm.
I have to trust that, but I don't have to. Sorry, I got a phone call in there.
Yeah.
I got a phone call there. I have to trust that. And Will, this is something I'm talking to you here too. And I love you, buddy. And this is all love. Like, trust that what you're doing is 1% each day in growth for what your ultimate outcome is. So, Will's doing way more than 1% a day in his real estate career right now to grow his business. And if he keeps doing what he's doing in the next 2 to 3 months, come next season popping, February, March, he's going to see incredible returns for what the dividends that you've put in there. But it's not about focusing on that. It's focusing on the outcome, but it's not focusing necessarily on your outcome. It's focusing on serving your avatar, because serving your avatar will ultimately lead to your outcome.
Gotcha.
That's
interesting.
I was hoping to get one more question in. Because prices are skyrocketing historically, they've been going crazy. How many have you had to have a lot of difficult discussions with your clients when, to set their expectations at a certain level, when like they think they have a shot at a house and then someone else comes in and offers like 30 grand above asking, and then they're probably crushed or they're upset? Like, how is that? I'm sure on the sell side, it's been great because you're getting over asking, but on the buy side, has that been difficult?
So I'll just say real quick, on the sales side, it's okay. And it's great in the sense of you're getting volume, but I don't normally recommend to pick the highest offer with my clients. If that highest offer is ridiculously high and we're going to wind up having an appraisal issue potentially down the line, again, unless it's cash but again, so for me, it's almost like picking a contractor. Sometimes they say, don't pick the highest or the lowest. It's pick the one in the middle that makes the most sense. Similar, like, you might pick one it's still going to be over your asking price at this point. Right. As a seller, as a buyer, rather, again, I don't want this to come off in any other way than just how it is. I think our company does a really good job at speaking into the unsaid. It's dangerous to leave the unsaid. That's where the most confusion happens. We have a saying at 194, if we're not in agreement, we're in disagreement. If we're not in complete agreement, we are in disagreement. If you have a client that goes to an open house and loves it, and then puts an offer in with the agent there, and then the agent calls you and said, great news, I found one and I put it with and you lose out on that deal. Shame on you for not making sure it was so 100% clear that when you go to that open house, I still represent you and this is my business card. And you have to give them my business card. So this just happened to me recently, and it was, I can make excuses for why it wasn't said, but doesn't matter. It wasn't said. Luckily, the situation worked out just fine. But again, it was a very quick reminder that we have to be transparent from day one, from go. And that's part of who we are as an identity in what we do, how we carry ourselves, how we handle, and I'll have that conversation with somebody on day one. I just want to let you know that we are going to have probably the most fun you've ever had ever. I can promise you, we're a fun company, but I also will tell you that I'm not going to not say something because you might not like the answer. If it's the truth, then you need to hear it. I'm just letting you know. I
totally agree. And I think
it's not going to be me.
It's even in my business, setting expectations from day one is like the number one goal, and just letting them know this is what we do, this is what we're not going to do. And making sure that's super clear is so important. I imagine it's the exact same with you. We're not going to go put in an offer for a house that we know that it's going to be way low ball and kind of no expectations. Right. So I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And the other thing I'll say in final here for me is this was a tip that I had taken from somebody else. And again, we talk about this all in our morning huddle and at 194, but in process mastery, the first pillar would be modeling. So in modeling other people's success and what other people are doing, one of the things, sorry, I thought it was my kid. I thought it was my kid running over to the car. One of the things say, I think I just lost my train of thought. That was horrible. Sorry, guys.
You were saying, find
Find the tape.
one of the things that we,
Instant replay, run it
oh yeah,
back.
it's live.
No, Chris, what was the last thing you just shared? The last thing
I was just saying
Expectations.
I thought expectations were
yeah.
very
So
important.
thank you. So sorry about that. So, setting those expectations up front, having clear boundaries from the get-go is to us the most important. And then being able to confront people. And again, confronting meaning to move through something without avoiding, not to dance around a subject because it's uncomfortable for either party. That's when real connection happens. When someone knows that they are safe with you, and safe doesn't mean I won't tell you things because it will hurt you, but safe means is I will protect you from things that will harm the dreams that you have that you've shared with me. That's what we want to make sure we're doing for our clients, for our teammates, for everybody we touch on a daily basis. So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. Will, you're the man. Mike,
Thank
Chris,
you.
nice to meet you guys. And I hope we get to do this again.
Nice meeting you. Definitely. Thank you.
Can I make a
coming
shout
on.
out? Can I make a quick shout out?
Go for it.
Absolutely.
End of February. I don't have a date set exactly yet, but we will have a date soon. We're going to be having a sales and influence training geared around real estate, geared around everybody's industry that's sitting in this room right now. And this event will be likely linked in with a charity as well to help an organization, but also to add value to my ecosystem partners and friends. And it'll be a lot of fun. So I'll let you guys know about that end of February. Keep your calendars clear.
Sounds
Awesome.
good.
Thanks.
Thanks,
All right,
Jay.
guys.
Have a
Thanks,
good
guys.
night, man.
Later.
Bye.
Guys, you want to stay?